Embracing human improvisation, I've decided to record this video for you guys on my way to work. As I've noticed, being surrounded by clouds and the threat of rain, I saw in between the clouds a ray of light, of warmth, and that reminded me very much of the situation I found myself in early 2023. When the AI debacle began, and I found myself working in the field of AI, and yet having my loyalty firmly on the side of artists, and having practiced traditional art for the past 7 years. Now, in this context, I felt very much conflicted, but I saw somebody, Jon Lam, who talked about the dream artistic CV. This guy has got it. So he was working with DC Comics, Marvel, he's worked in video games, always as a visual artist. So Riot Games employed him, Diablo 3 employed him. I mean, he's worked everywhere and he's extremely accomplished. And yet we haven't heard about him that much in the years since, but I believe he is the person who is fighting the AI beast in the most productive way out of all the frontline people, because although you haven't heard about him, he's got the best philosophy to face down the AI beast. So what is this philosophy? It is apparent to me from an interview in late 2022 that he did, where he claimed that most artists understand that art is not about the finished product. This is a given. It is about your lived experience, and the process of art is also maybe the most important part of art. But he said, let's go further, because when he sees a work of art, he is looking not only at the experience of the artists themselves, but he is always also looking at friends, mentors, and colleagues and people. And what this means is that the work of art is not only the production of the individual, it is also the result of a lifetime of collaboration, of inspiration. And when you consider your own style, when you consider your own message, you cannot take all the credit for it. You have to look at the so-called ghosts in your life, those who have inspired you, those who have spited you, those who have allowed you to thrive and struggle, and your enemies, and those who have the mentors and the examples, and also the people you've seen and you wanted not to become like them. So all these people are part of the artistic creation process, and Jon Lam therefore has a very, very integrative way of looking at art. So you could imagine with this person who looks at art as people, mentors, and friends, when there comes the release of a CSV file from the Midjourney people that shows 60,000 artists, a list of 16,000 artists whose art Midjourney has cataloged in order to train on it illegally, in direct infringement of morality, but also legal processes. You could imagine how enraged this man Jon Lam would be, and you could imagine how much of a threatening enemy he would be to the AI establishment, because he is so well entrenched in the art world and so capable. In fact, he was the one person out of the many people I'm going to cover on this channel to galvanize the troops of artists in the fight against AI. He was one of the few people who really led the fight on all fronts, and is still doing so to this day, in complete disregard of his personal benefit, because truly you do not hear as much about this guy as you hear about the other people. He's something of an unknown hero. And so I want to give you the 3 axes of resistance that this guy has gone down into. And I'm kind of making this up as I go, but first is legal. So he was at the forefront of the legal battle. In that 16,000 artist example that I've given you, he was directing these artists, these very artists, towards legal procedures, helping them with the money side, with the various legal aspects of fighting back against this Midjourney monster. Information-wise is the second axis of resistance. He learned about these systems, and he called out when he saw that there were bots scraping the internet. For instance, ArtStation was being scraped by a bot, and he called it out, and that led to the bot being taken down. He also made a website, sort of a movement, a container. Because remember, the first tool in human history is not the lance, it is not the sword, and you certainly cannot shoot a bow and arrow at a data center. The first tool in human history is a bag, right? And so he made this website to contain the resistance against AI, this movement to contain the fight against this overtaking of humanity by silicone-based beings. Create, don't scrape is the name of the website, and it contains all the information you need about fighting the legal battle, updates on the legal battle, and information. So, for example, the distinction between fine-tuning and pre-training, explaining exactly why certain claims that are made by companies like Adobe with their Firefly model that is supposedly ethical are actually BS claims, right? And then the third and most impressive to me and most inspiring to me axis of this resistance is the tech resistance. So you cannot call Jon Lam a Luddite because he was one of the first to use technology to fight this AI technology. He was one of the people working with the people at the University of Chicago, I think, who made the glaze and nightshade models, helping them tailor their technology to the needs of artists. And we know that glaze and nightshade are huge successes and are used aggressively by artists across the board today. Now, as someone with deep AI skills, PhD skills, and my loyalty being on this artist side, it was truly inspiring to me to see that some of the AI researchers were being included in this fight against AI. To see that just because my family history has led me to this point does not mean that I cannot pivot and do my part. And actually, with my skills in AI, I'm highly interested in replicating these glaze and nightshade systems, perhaps even improving on them, because they've been deserted by the AI community by now. The people who made glaze kind of moved on and got other jobs in other universities, and they're not really doing that much work anymore. And so I'm wondering what I could do personally. So if you're interested in that, I highly encourage you to subscribe and keep following this channel. But the one thing that I wanted to cover with Jon Lam, the one thing that was brought to me by this ray of sunlight that I saw in the sky as I'm about to actually get into my place of work right now, is that of resilience. The field of art must not only be a thorny territory for the AI to step into and conquer, it must also be warm and self-reliant. Because, you know, I made a video about Sam Does Arts, and it's a story of him facing down the beast and eventually terminating it. He is kind of safe from it by now because he has won the fight. But this doesn't apply to Jon Lam, because Jon Lam is fighting the long game, and this is the true game of the war against AI. It's a long, long game. It won't be over in a decade. So you have to make sure that you last the long game. And so you need to make warmth for your colleague, to make warmth for yourself, and to make sure that you're truly creating, even if it means sacrificing temporary gain, even if it means that you can't make money from your art right now. You have to stick to your values. And then, in perhaps 50 years, when the data centers run out of energy and humans take over the earth again, we will be the new wave. See you guys.